So Douglas Murray was on the Ben Shapiro show, and he discussed the lack of empathy for Israelis, and the lack of empathy for Jews in the West.
Wild lack of empathy for the state of Israel means anything. You've got to come back to this primordial triple standard. And we know it can come from anywhere, and that anti-Semitism is a shape-shifting virus, can come from left or right, can come from everywhere at the same time. I think the one of the things that's interesting about the movement of some people on the right against Israel, and playing around with anti-Semitic tropes for sure, in a way which you could predict but maybe not expect, is that they seem to think that there's something strange. I get this a bit against myself and my, preoccupation with this issue in the last year. I mean, going back many years, but particularly in the last year. And people say, well, why are you so bothered about Israel? And I hear that from the right. The left don't care. They know I'm beyond saving. But on the right, I hear that. And I think they don't realize, they think it's some weird thing. Like, what is this small state? Why does it bother you? I don't think they've even remotely reflected on what I regard as the deepest reasons to care. It seems to me, if, as you well know, Western civilization is based on the legacy of Athens and Jerusalem. Athens is under great assault always, but it's not actually under existential assault at the moment. What is being attempted by Israel's enemies is the philosophical and cultural equivalent of burning all the libraries of Alexandria. This is one of the underpinnings of Western civilization, utterly, utterly at risk. And not in a sort of metaphorical way where people might use it as a sort of book subtitle, but the real thing. I mean, I've sometimes thought about it this way. I haven't tried this out in public before. How many Jews are there in the world?
15 million.
15 million. Okay. This is going to come. This may come across really coarse, but let me put it this way. I mean, there are lots of conflicts in the world, and I've covered a lot of conflicts involving a lot of people. But it's conceivable that at some point, 15 million Christians could be killed. It would be a disaster, a tragedy. It's conceivable that at some point, Burma, India, 15 million Muslims could be killed. It would be a disaster. It would be a tragedy of an unimaginable scale, of mid-20th century scale. But if 15 million Jews were killed, that's the end of the story. That's it. Now, what does that mean for the Jewish people? It's the end. The people who saw off everyone from Pharaoh to Hitler disappeared in the 21st century. Everyone else, in my view, wouldn't survive either. Western civilization could not survive the destruction of the Jewish state because it would be, among much else, the cutting away of the whole tree that we're on, and Western civilization would die. So I regard the existential threat against the Jewish people to not just be about the Jewish people. It matters deeply to me that it is about the Jewish people. But it also matters to me because it's about America. Could America survive if the Jewish people were no more on its watch, or everybody was forcibly deported from the Holy Land? Come on. Of course not. Could the isolationists bear the repercussions of that across the Middle East and elsewhere? Of course not. So I find this blitheness and the frivolity of it to be absolutely intolerable among the critics on the right.
Wow. Strong words from Douglas Murray. As a Jew, that touches me deeply. He feels that we are critical to the West's continuation, to preserving those values. And again, I think he was the one that said the statement that the sign of a collapsing civilization is that it starts, becoming anti-Semitic. It starts going after Jews. That's the first sign, warning sign of a collapsing civilization.